Welcome everybody! So I just recently played through Xenosaga Episode 1. It was a JRPG developed by Monolith Soft and released on the PS2 in 2002. I figured since I reviewed FF16, East 10, Kai no Kiseki, and Dragon Slayer The Legend of Heroes with my Holy Trinity reviewing system, that I would do the same for Xenosaga Episode 1. This will be a spoiler-free review. Anyways, let's get down to business. I'm gonna start off with the story. The story is full of nods to religious lore and mythos, especially Christianity, which is pretty common in JRPGs, but it feels even more potent here. It might not be for everyone, but as someone who went to church a lot as a kid, I personally found it fascinating. Moving away from religion, the pacing of this game's plot was pretty strong overall. It felt like at almost all times something exciting was happening, or at the very least build up towards exciting events. Basically, I felt like there was never any dull moments throughout the main story. This game throws a lot of terms and abbreviations your way, which can be overwhelming. Sometimes I wish they would chill with that, but I suppose it does add some more charm to the world, and I guess it also adds more immersion. The story left me with a lot more questions than answers, and I'm certainly confused about a few things. There are especially some events or characters I really need to know more about. But hey, this is episode 1 of a trilogy, so mission accomplished by the developers. I definitely gotta play episode 2 soon. Overall, I thought the story was great, but there were some issues I had with it, but very minor for the most part. I'm gonna give the story in Xenosaga Episode 1 an 8.5 out of 10. Moving on to the gameplay. The combat system is extremely confusing at first, but after playing around with it for a bit, you will realize it's not actually that complicated. The core of this combat system is really simple and clean. It won't be long until you are having a blast taking down enemies with tech attacks and boosts. This combat system is a mix of many different JRPGs I've played before, but it's really well executed. That said, there are a few annoyances I have with it. For starters, I do think that outside the core of the system is a bit too complex with all the different types of points and restrictions. It does get easier to understand the more you play, but I was still bothered by the complexity. I also do think it's a bit lame that if you have a party member in the back row, their only way of attacks are ethers, which is basically the magic in the game. When it comes to boosts, I think normal enemies use them far too often, and it was a real shame and shamble enemy boost could not be interrupted in any way. Now it might sound like I'm being a negative Nancy over here, but despite my complaints, this is a really good combat system, and those complaints I had are pretty minor overall. I'm going to give the gameplay in Xenosaga Episode 1 an 8.5 out of 10. Time for the music. The music in this game is composed by the legend Yasunori Mitsuda. If you don't know who he is, if you have played Chrono Trigger, he did the vast majority of the OST in that game, so there you go. It's a really good OST and it fits the game insanely well. That said, it goes for a more atmospheric approach to its music. I don't mind that, but I'm a crazy guy, so I've always preferred more melodic and eccentric music in my games. This game still has music like that sometimes, but not too often. I would play the music from the game in this video normally, but man oh man, I've been getting hit with copyright warnings on YouTube quite a bit recently, so I'm just playing it safe and using Falcom music. I did use the battle theme of this game in a former video and it was fine, but I'm gonna stick to playing it safe here. Speaking of battle themes, one really odd thing about this game is that there are no boss themes. You will hear the same battle theme for every battle all throughout, until the final boss. Thank God this battle theme is a banger though. I never got tired of hearing it. Overall, this is an excellent OST, but the lack of boss themes and my own personal taste drag the score down a bit. I'm gonna give the music in Xenosaga Episode 1 an 8 out of 10. So, with a story score of 8.5, a gameplay score of 8.5, and a music score of 8, the overall score becomes an 8.3. But 8.3 is a dumb number, so I'm rounding it up to an 8.5. So there you have it. Xenosaga Episode 1 is an 8.5 out of 10 game to me. Therefore, this game was really great. I'm so glad I played it. Now, I know what some of you might say. You brought up so many negative points, why are you so positive about the game? Well, you see, I was being more critical for the sake of a review. I would recommend this game to just about any JRPG fan, really. Especially Trails fans, since the Xeno games all seem to be connected to each other. This was the first Xeno game I've played, and I can see why there are so many fans of the series. As soon as I finished Xenosaga Episode 1, the Oonga Boonga in my brain was telling me to immediately jump into Episode 2. But I'm gonna wait a little bit on that. I don't want to risk burnout for the series. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, check out my other videos. And also, I streamed my playthrough of this game. I stream here on YouTube pretty frequently, so if you don't mind some memery, tomfoolery, and some dirty language, and you see me live, don't be shy, come on down and say hi. Well, the classic is in order. If you have made it this far, thanks for watching. I'll see you around, have a good one, peace.